Okay, here we have a Clavinova, a Yamaha Clavinova CVP-307, and it's got some sticking keys and some clicking keys, sticking and clicking. So we're going to try and find out what we're going to do to fix that. This is the model with the fold up screen and buttons. So I need to take the top off so I can get access to inside, and there are no screws across the back like in the previous models, so that prevents you having easy access. But there is a trick if you look hard enough. What we've got to do is lift this section up until it's about halfway. That exposes a gap in under there where there is a screw and a bracket right in the corner on both sides, one at each corner. Very hard to get to and very tight. You might have to tap them gently with a hammer on the back of the screwdriver to loosen it up before you can actually get it to turn. Try really hard not to burr the head. Once those two little screws are out, you can actually slide this whole section backwards on both sides, backwards like that, and then that whole section will lift off. You can see the mechanism. There's the bracket where the screw was holding the front of the top panel on, and there's a slide bracket that allows the whole top section to move backwards. Try and show you the bottom side. There's the bracket on the lid, and there's a little screw that fits into that bracket. Okay, with that taken apart, I've actually repaired this already. What was happening, that inside there is that red, green and white piece of foam. It was all hanging down. The glue had come loose, come undone, and that piece of foam, the one I'm pointing at there, was actually hanging right down and touching on the keys, on the strikers, and causing them to stick and making them click because they had no foam to hit. To get better access to that piece of foam, you have to move this top section. It's a little bit tricky, but you can see that there's a piece here where it slides in that slot, where they actually, when you move it open, it actually slides through into that slot so that it opens up the piano. I'm at the back of the piano now. So what we're going to do is slide it to a point where this section here actually allows the screw, it's a rod there, to come up here, which allows to open that section up. So I'm going to slide that back to about there and lift it up. Sorry about the camera work, but so that now slid out of that bracket, and that whole section now can just fold forward and give you really good access. And what I did, because that piece of foam was all hanging down, what I did was I put some little tiny zip ties and made sure I put them over top of a plastic bracket, not over the keys, because you don't want the keys, the strikers, to hit that, because that'll tick as well. So I've just gone along there and put little zip ties just to hold it back into place, because the foams are still in nice condition. And hopefully that will resolve all the issues. What was happening, this foam was hanging down so far, sometimes these strikers would come up and sit on top, which would stop the key from coming back up again. So quite a simple fix. I'm just going to put it all back together again now, hopefully. That should just click back into place. Back into place, as I said. That did go back in there. Now I'll put the lid back on top, make sure I didn't leave any torches or screws or anything in there. There was only 2 screws I had to take out, which was on these brackets, as I previously mentioned, as they're inside. A little bit tricky to get to and very tight, so be careful with those ones. Okay, to put this top back on, you have to make sure that everything's lined up in the bracket. You can just about make out that little fella there, and that little has a screw that clips into there, and the whole thing will slide forward and lock into place. So it goes on there and down and then clicks into place like that. do it on both sides, and then make sure you put those tricky little screws back into place, which are up in that corner again, but you can only access it when you lift the lid. Okay, so with that back up in place, you'll find out there's no more sticking keys. Focus, you bugger. There's no more sticking keys and no more clicking keys. So we're going to be really happy with that as a result. Once it's turned on, obviously, it'll make a bit of a different sound. Hope that helped. I didn't find any other videos that would help on this particular model. This is the CVP-307, and yeah, I hope that helps somebody. Thanks for watching.